All right, we are live. Welcome to another episode of 10 Horse Money YouTube channel on Tuesday night live, and we got the Bass Warrior. How did you come up with the Bass Warrior? Where'd that come from?
Dude, so I've been fishing my whole life. My dad was a touring pro. It's just raised in my blood, bass fishing. So when I got my first boat when I was 10. My dad gave me a 375 Ranger with a 150 Merc. Had my brother-in-law tow it to the lake for me, drop me off, all that deal. But when I was like 14, me and my buddy, Sato, Japanese, full-blooded Japanese, but dude, he's a fish catcher. Catches any kind of fish. So we're in this backwater at one of the local lakes, Kachuma, and it was after a rain, and the beavers put all this wood. You know, I mean, we couldn't get to the juice, right? So he was all upset. And I'm like, dude, I'm getting to that juice. I'm getting to those fish. He's like, how you gonna do it? I said, I'm gonna jump this dam. And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm doing it. And he goes, dude, you're gonna kill us. And 14, 15 years old, we jumped that 375 over the top. Dude, I don't know how we did, but we got back there, and he looked at me and goes, dude, you're a warrior. You're a freaking warrior. And then the Bass Warrior stuck. It just stuck after that. I mean, it just stuck, you know. So it's been the Bass Warrior since I was like 14 years old.
So did you catch him on the other side of that pile?
What's that?
Did you catch him on the other side of that pile?
Oh yeah, we caught him, dude. Those fish are like untouched, like
virgin waters.
Oh yeah, we got it. We won the tournament. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
That's like the pond at Cedar.
Yeah. We got a local lake that's got there's two ponds in two separate places, and there's a little ditch cut, you know, that they cut to drain it out.
Yeah.
When the water's really high, you can get in there. And
I don't know if I can float my new boat in there.
Yeah, I don't know. We fish out of John boats a lot.
Oh yeah.
We had 14-foot John boats. Now we got 16-footers, and they're wider.
Right.
I could get up in there with my 14-footer. You can get up there in a kayak all day long, right? But
yeah.
I haven't tried it in my newer boat because it's probably like a foot wider, maybe.
Yeah, every bit of a foot
and
wider.
It drafts probably.
Well, the problem is, so like you could hit it going one way, right?
Right.
But it's a pond.
It's getting out.
Yeah, there's no hitting it going out because it's all vegetation. Like it's a pond. There's vegetation along the edge of the bank. So as soon as you hit that with our 20-horse motor, our 9.9 motor, it's going to be like, bah!
Yeah,
it's going to be high centered on it for a day.
Exactly.
So
no, but that Bass Warrior name, dude, it just stuck, and everybody thought I got that name older in life. I'm like, dude, I've been the Bass Warrior since, you know, teenage years, and a lot of my newer buddies fishing the tour, they go fishing with me 1 day, 2 days, and they're like, yeah, I know why they call you the Bass Warrior.
Yeah. Well, because when I was talking to Big Al, he's like, you want to try to reach out to the Bass Warrior? And I'm like, who's the Bass Warrior? And I'm like, what's the Bass Warrior? Where'd that come from? So I had to ask you.
Dude, since I was a kid, I'll put the fish first. I don't care if I'm in a brand new 2024 Ranger Z520R. To me, a boat's a tool. Like that's my tool. That's not something I got to keep. You hardly ever see me wipe my boat down after practice or after an event. I'll do the maintenance. I'll keep the maintenance up because it's my tool. I'll change the oil. I'll do the greasing, all that. But I treat it just like a tool. I don't treat it nothing more than just, it's my tool, and it's going to get me to the fish. You know, come hell or high water, I'm going to get in those fish, and I'm going to put this boat to the test doing it. So.
Yeah, I'd say I'm along the same lines as you too. I try to keep up with the maintenance and stuff, so I don't have to worry about that. But my boat's a mess right now. It's bad. So here's my problem. I keep cutting off Carolina rigs, and then I lay that tag, you know, the swivel, and then the hook and the bait, and there's like 4 or 5 Carolina rigs, and then
probably stuck in your throttle.
Yeah, I need to clean up bad, and I got on a pretty hellacious punching bite about 3 weeks ago, and I was going through a bunch of beavers. You know, I'm just going through them, and they're all over the place. And I don't know. I need to spend about an hour and clean up shop for sure.
Dude, some of those beavers that I pulled out of my back battery compartment, where they grow like double in size and they got bumps all over them. Yeah. Some of those I'll put back on a hook and throw because they look so damn cool.
Maybe that's where like the double wide beaver came from.
The problem is when you start catching them on that and you only got 2.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You have to fill up your live well and throw a bag in the live well and let them soak for all day long.
Right. Hi, buddy. I was
somebody just says your boat's in spotless and perfect condition.
Basszilla.
Basszilla says your boat is in spotless and perfect condition.
Oh yeah, that's my traveling partner, Stu Martell. he knows how I treat my stuff. He's the same way though. He is the same way. When it's time to cash checks and do work, he's on it.
Yeah.
Well, who do you fear when you pull up to the Saturday jackpot or the Wednesday nighter? I remember we pulled up to it's a local lake around here. It's Wren Lake, and it's what 8,000 acres, something like that.
It's about 8,000.
Smaller lake.
Yeah.
Well, we were getting ready to take off one morning. It's a team trail, and a guy pulls up in a John boat like we fish out of. We're fishing out of my buddy Skeeter, and he pulls up in a John boat with a 25 horse on it. And everybody just put their head down like they were already beat before we even launched because they knew he was going somewhere where nobody else could get to.
100%. Anybody that pulls in up with a 14-footer or 15-footer, watch out.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Out here, though, out in the California lakes, I mean, I could get pretty much anywhere in my big boat. You know what I mean? It's not like back east where you got creeks and rivers that lead you to these, even at the Delta, back in the Delta, back in the day when there was real high water, you could probably, let me put it like this. There was a dude, Leon Knight. I don't know if you guys know Leon Knight, but he moved to Alabama probably 10 years ago. He won a tournament at the Delta where he actually bolted come-alongs to these trees, right? And you could YouTube this. He bolted come-alongs to these trees. And dude, he actually come along his boat every day in the tournament, never got out of the boat, so he couldn't get disqualified or nothing. But he come along back into this backwater, ended up winning the tournament, but he did it all out of his 20-foot Ranger. And you guys just need to watch this YouTube video on this. I think it was in like 2009 or 2010. And he ended up winning. 2 boats got in there. Him and his older buddy, they called him Delta Don. He's about in his 60s. They both took first and second out of this little backwater, and it's just the coolest, innovative stuff that you could see someone getting into a backwater with a big Ranger like that. And I never even knew that backwater existed. I would probably try to jump my boat in there.
That sounds like some Randy Blockett stuff back in the day, where he sank his boat just to get back into a couple
or crochet or something.
Yeah.
What do you think about that kind of stuff? Do you think you should be able to do that in tournaments, or do you
absolutely?
Yeah,
absolutely. Here's the thing with the poche thing. Here's my thing. He signed up at the beginning of the year and registered that boat for the whole year. Now he has to take that boat to St. Clair, Erie, Champlain, all those north. You know what I mean? So look at how outnumbered he is taking that boat, to those lakes.
Yeah, it's a disadvantage on
our disadvantage. Yeah, like a disadvantage. He knows maybe 1 or 2 tournaments out of the year I'll have an advantage to, and he's not promised that he's going to crack him in those backwaters. That's the whole thing. So it's really a gamble. To me, I don't even think I would pick a tiny boat at the beginning of the year. Even if I knew I had 1 tournament I could possibly win, I would want my big boat where I could, cash 7 checks out of 7 tournaments rather than maybe just win. You know what I mean? So hats off for Keith, man. I mean, that's jumping his boat like he does and getting in those backwaters. I mean, I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah, I do too, man. I think things have tightened up too much on some of that stuff. I mean, we need rules for sure, but man, if there's a will, there should be a way, and I think you should be able to do some of that stuff, because that's part of the creativeness of fishing, man. You're taking the creative part out of that, and like you said, if you're in a glass boat with a 250, you're running 70, 74 miles an hour. You're in that Gator tracks. He's running like 50.
Yeah, so not even that. Probably like 45.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he's such at a disadvantage for the rest of the year rather than that one event. And who knows if he's going to crack him in that event anyways. You know what I mean? Yeah, you'll find a backwater where no one could get to. Cool. Like, you know what I mean? The rest of the year, you know. So
hey,
I
why
think
not open it up wide open? Like if you got it, run it.
Yeah.
Why register one boat? Hey, if it's got to be wrapped, it's got to be wrapped the same. If you want to run 4 different boats throughout the season, run 4 different boats throughout the season. If you want to run a Gator tracks for the first, one down in Florida, and you want to run a
you run into money though. See,
yeah, but but the same thing goes with the live scopes and having 4 freaking 16-inch graphs in the front of your boat.
Yeah,
that guy's got more in graphs than you could have in another boat.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but the funny thing about the whole Poche deal. So it's funny how he gets. All this gets brought up for jumping that little dam in that backwater. But look at all the guys that have little look how many tournaments he's won on Douglas, taking that little boat up the river where no boat could, no glass boat could ever get. Same with, I fished with Patrick Walters. He has a little boat that in the Bass Opens he took up those rivers in Douglas. All those guys do it, but then he jumps a dam and then all this stuff comes out like. And I got no problem. I got no problem with I love Patrick. I love everybody. Like, I don't know why all the animosity towards Poche over jumping that dam. I thought that was the coolest scene. Like, we need more of that in bass fishing.
I agree. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, I thought it was way cool. And I'll tell you what, if I could have jumped that same dam in my glass boat, shit, I would have done it in my glass boat.
You need the old Ranger back. That's what you need.
Yeah, the old 375.
I got a boy that's almost 10. I couldn't imagine giving my boy a 375 Ranger at 10 years old.
Yeah, that was a nice boat to start out with. Sure.
Yeah. Well, we just got my son's almost 16, but when he was almost 14, I want to say, or maybe he was already 14, we got him a 21-foot Triton with I think he's got 200 on it, all dialed, live scoped out. So got to start him young, like he's been doing good in school. He's, he stays out of all the riffraff. He hustles in football. I mean, the kid's just doing good. So, I mean, and he just loves fishing. And now that I'm on tour every year, it's like that cuts our fishing time down to a lot because I'm always back east. So I thought now he's going to get his license here in February. He's got a boat now and it's cool. It's cool to watch him grow as an angler and as a kid. And it's just reminds me of me when I was that age. And it's just cool that we could share that passion. And that's something that's never going to get burned out. Like we're going to do this the rest of our life, me and him. And it's just so dang cool to watch him these last couple of years, just turn to watch him evolve as an angler, it's real cool. And our fishing styles are so different too. It's like you would think he watches his dad but our fishing style, the kid could, dude. I'll tell you what, when he comes out and starts fishing professionally, this kid could flip a jig and punch like nobody's business, dude. I mean, that's gonna be his forte is flipping, and dude, he's good at it. I mean, he's really good. He's 6'2". I want to say 260. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
he's a big boy, but he lays the wood on him, dude. He lays the wood on him. He don't lay that flipping stick down. I don't care if it's 40 degrees of wintertime. He wants to go flip something. So
can you flip? I mean, you got lakes in the area where there's always going to be some sort of a flipping bite year round.
Oh yeah, out here. Yeah, you can flip them all year out here. Certain lakes.
Okay.
Like down at Cachuma, we got a little lake down by Santa Barbara, Cachuma. You could flip them all year there. Okay. Yeah, no matter how cold it is, they live shallow there.
You're in Santa Monica in that area?
No, I'm Santa Maria. I'm between San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara, right? You know where Pismo Beach and all that is?
I'm familiar with the LA area. I got family like in let's see, Rancho Santa Margarita.
Oh yeah, that's down there.
Viejo. That kind of area. Pasadena. My sister lives in Pasadena.
Dude, Mission Viejo has a badass private lake out there.
I fished in it a couple times.
Oh yeah, it's good. There's some.
It's a long time ago.
There's big uns in there, like real big uns.
I seen the biggest bass I have ever seen because that water's like 25-foot visibility. It's super clear, right?
Oh yeah, crystal clear.
So I rented a boat one time. I was out there. I used to go out there. My dad lived out there, and I'd go out in the summer and stay with him for a couple of weeks. And I rented some boat, and I'm out there just trolling motor only. and it has some grass. Some of it has some grass, like super, super deep grass kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I see this fish down there, and it's massive. I thought it was like a log or something. And I'm looking at it and looking at it. And I didn't realize how big it was until I flipped my bait down there and looking at the size of my bait next to the fish. It had to be like one of those 10, 12, 14 pounders. And that's one of those lakes where they stock trout.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So they just eat the trout all day long.
All day long. Dude, back in the 80s and 90s, those SoCal lakes and Casitas and Castaic was just unreal. I mean, it was just, that's all those fish ate were trout. And just trout and a never ending amount of trout. And those fish, I mean, you look at back in the days at Casitas where guys were weighing in 5 fish for like 60 pounds. I mean, just crazy. Dude, I seen my buddy. So I was at my buddy's house last week, and one of the founding fathers of like Castaic Casitas, he passed away last year. Well, my buddy got all his mounts. His wife gave him all his mounts because they were good buddies. And I went down and seen those mounts last week, and it was just a single day weight was like, I think he had like 70 something pounds. He had an 18, a 17, 2 16s, and like, I think a 15 or something, but he has all the mounts, like the replicas. All
that was in one day?
One day. But that was back in the heyday. That was back in the early 90s. You know what I mean? But there's fish like that down there. Now, this day and age, they quit planting trout in all those lakes, all the pressure, you just don't get them like that anymore. You know what I mean? But back in the 90s, there was videos, a good video to watch. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this video, but it was with Paul Bailey, Sean Bailey, Matt Newman with iRod, Justin Kerr back when Justin was a teenager. But it's called the Big Bait Posse.
Okay.
And watch that DVD. They actually produced it. They came out with it. You could actually buy the video. It's called Big Bait Posse. But that was Lake Casitas at its prime. I mean, they were boat flipping 12s, 13s. Like I'm talking like, 10 a day, 20 a day. I mean, back when the Huddy very first came out, when no one knew about the Huddy, no one even knew about the big swim bait. These guys kept it under wrap, and they were just, dude, you should see the monsters that these guys caught on this video. I mean, Iconelli was on it. Iconelli, they call Iconelli, and they're like, hey, you want to learn how to swim bait fish? And he's like, well, what's a swim? And he went out there for a day, and dude, it was just, it's crazy. This video. I mean, it would just blow your mind, the big fish. But it's not like that no more because of the, they don't plant the trout, all the pressure and all the thing. But back in the 90s, late 80s, and the early 2000s, it was just epic out here, just crazy.
So what's your big one then?
My big one's a 14.5.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Pretty stout. Yeah.
Is it from out there or is it from back east?
Clear Lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pre-fish. Actually, I caught that one pre-fishing for a tournament.
Hold on. What did it take to win the tournament?
Dude, I can't even remember. Probably. I mean, any tournament at Clear Lake, you got to have over 25 even on a bad day, dude. Okay, so get this. So last month they had the TOC there, and it was still hot, like it was still summertime bite, and 30 was leading after day one. You want to know what 40th place was? 20 pounds at 40th place. 40th place was still 20 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean, Clear Lake's just insane, dude. Clear Lake is just, you got to have.
It was on a downturn for a while, wasn't it?
A little bit, but it's still good. Like,
still good, yeah.
Yeah, it's still, better than any lake back east, for sure. 100%. Yeah. That's why I wish the NPFL would go out there just one time, just go even for a championship, or like even do like a Western swing, like a Delta 1 week, Clear Lake the next week, to make it like, so they're just not traveling out there for one derb or something,
Yeah.
Do like a Delta Clear Lake, and I guarantee it'll be the best fishing that those guys ever fished.
Well, how 100%. Far from Clear Lake are you?
What's that?
How far from Clear Lake are you?
Like 5.5 hours.
Yeah. See, if you live in the south of the country, the east, like 5.5 hours is like you can be at every lake.
It's a long drive.
That's a long drive for everybody out here, but that's like just down the road for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run up to Clear Lake in the morning. It's like,
yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing for us.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we live about 100 miles south of St. Louis, right along the Mississippi River.
Oh, yeah.
So if we drive south about 4 hours, we can hit Pickwick. We're about 5 hours from Gunnersville. We're 2 hours from Kentucky Lake. And then we got Lake of the Ozarks, which is about 4 hours. Table Rock's about 5. So, within 5 hours, there's a ton of really big lakes to fish. And then, of course, we got stuff around here within an hour that we drive to. So we stay locally, but
you guys got good lakes back, good solid lakes back, good tournament lakes. I mean, I wish I would have moved back east a long time ago, but we just bought property on Rayburn. So I probably got like another year or two left here in Cali. And then we'll be settling on Rayburn. So,
are you from Cali originally?
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah, born and raised, never left.
Okay.
So, that's why we California's just changed, man. It's got real bad out here. Just the resource, like you go to Texas or like any of those other lakes, and they take care of their lakes. They take care of their resources. The conservation is just out the roof. You come to California and they don't care, dude. They don't care. Dude, we have gems out here that they don't care about. You know what I mean? Like they just don't put you go around the rest of the country and you see what, those states put into their hunting and fishing, and I'm just get so jealous, dude. Like, gosh, we have some of the best gems out in California and they don't do nothing with it,
How much is gas right now?
Dude, $7 for a gallon of diesel.
God. I told you, it's crazy.
Yeah. For a gallon of diesel, $7.
Yeah.
That's
nuts, man.
That's
the thing. Unleaded. That's the thing that I've been to California quite a few times. Like I said, I've spent several summers out there as a kid, and I go back about every 3 or 4 years, and like all the extra fees, like the fuel prices, the launching the boat. I remember back in Mission Viejo, it was like, this is a long time ago. It was like $10 to launch the boat, and then $10 to pull it out of the water.
You gotta pay to pull it out.
Pay to pull it out. Yeah,
dude, we just fished a team tournament at Lake Nacimiento, $36 for the day.
See,
36.
We complain when it costs $5 to launch around here. There's like one lake that's $5, and everybody's like all upset that they have to pay $5 to launch their boat. 36.
Yeah, I'll tip, dude. I'll give you a tip for $10 to launch your. Yeah, it was $36, dude.
Jeez.
Well, and so what's unleaded out there? Diesel 7. What's unleaded?
Unleaded's like $6.
So
they got so many blends too.
Yeah.
So you just think about that, like a trip to the lake is $200.
The cheap blend, the cheap at 87 is almost $6. You go to Supreme and it's like $650, $675.
So you're looking at, just to go fun fishing for the afternoon is like $200.
Oh, 100%.
That's ridiculous.
100%. Oh yeah, I know.
You need to get back east as soon as you can,
dude. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's gonna be like a pay increase for you.
Yeah, once my boy graduates high school and his football deals, I'm keeping him in school because he's got scouts looking at him. He's really a star when it comes to that football. But I'm gonna keep him doing that, and then once he graduates and he goes to college, it's all about Rayburn and Texas, and getting my roots planted over there. I can't wait. I can't wait. I do construction. I got a little construction company out here. So once I get to Texas, it's no more working. It's just straight doing videos, sponsor stuff, fishing. I want to try and fish 2 tours. I want to maybe jump in the Bass Opens and still stay with the NPFL or something like that. I haven't really got nothing set in stone, but I'll always be at the NPFL. The NPFL is hands down, dude. I fished them all. NPFL is the best organization for an angler. Like,
well, it's probably hard to fish too from being that far away, right? Like
100%.
And with a family too. Now you take yourself single, mid-20s, do like Paulining did, just move basically east for the next 6 months and then go back home.
Yeah.
Buy your boat, sell your boat within 6 months, and
never
even see home.
Yep, exactly.
But that's what it's for a family guy.
And that's what it's going to be like in Texas, dude. Once I get to Texas, it's all about fishing and fishing and fishing. Like it's already it's Troy will be in college, and it's all about just the career path of just fishing. No more construction, no more this. No, I mean, just it's gonna be straight fishing, and more fishing. So,
well, you need to pick a school in Texas to get.
What's that?
You need to get a school in Texas.
That's where he wants to go. So it's gonna set up perfect. It's gonna set. He's already wanting to leave school right now to be a professional fisherman. I'm like, whoa. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes a little. Let's try this football thing out for a little bit, and if it don't work, there's always fishing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if you play your cards right, you get your school paid for.
Yep.
And then let's go fishing.
Yeah, and even get a marketing degree, so that's just going to help your fishing career. Like get something to do with marketing, so you're just not there in school for nothing. Let's do the marketing, play a little football. That way, you got a little bit of both worlds. Where 22, 23 years old, you could pick what you want to do. You could either get a marketing job and you stay in the fishing industry, or so much about marketing, just market yourself, and then try and become a professional angler.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Like, you get the right degree, and depending on what capacity you want to be in the industry, because life changes, right? Like, I remember at 23, that's all I wanted to do was become a professional fisherman.
Right.
And it's like, wait a second, like, pump the brakes. I got a good degree and a decent job.
Right.
Let's just fish a lot. How about that?
Yeah.
And not have to worry about putting food on the table with my fishing.
Right.
Would love to do it, but it's not an easy life. It's not the glitz and the glamour that everybody thinks that it is. I promise you that.
100%. And it's getting tougher for the anglers. Like even now, I was talking to one of my buddies, just a local fisherman, and he goes, "I bet you're glad to be home and get a break." And I'm like, dude, this is when the real work starts, though, is when we come home and we're planning our boat, and sponsors is the hardest thing. I mean, it's hard for me. Sponsors are hard for me because I just want to fish. And no one really ever showed me, hey, this is how you get sponsored, all the computer stuff. So it's real hard for me, but that's when the real work starts is, this month, December and January, is just doing all the sponsor stuff, contracts, getting the money, I mean, it's just, when we get to go fish and we're pre-fishing, it's still hard. I mean, our only fun time is tournament time when we get to actually crack on them, because you're not really cracking on them in practice. You find a spot, you catch one, you back off it. You're not. So pretty much tournament time is really the only real fun time you go crack them. And it's just getting harder for an angler, though. Like the sponsor dollars is like, dude, it's so hard to get money anymore for fishing, unless you're not like already clicked up with like a team or something, or like a bait company with has your baits, or how, you know what I mean? It's hard. It's getting real hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the best kind of sponsorships are like slow grown sponsorships. Like you meet somebody, you have a relationship with somebody, and
100%
kind of like a family thing, and you get to know that person. But that stuff takes time. That's like it's not like something that just happens overnight.
Well, what I learned of touring the last 3 years is, if you want good money, and I'm not saying this for everybody, because you have your Polnicks, you have you know what I mean, you have all your guys that are clicked up with a Rapala and all, and so don't get me wrong when I say this, but for the average angler, if you want that money, you got to go outside the fishing industry. Like like look at Wesley Strader, Hell's Construction. I mean, for me, all my money had nothing to do with the fishing industry. Granted, I have my fishing industry sponsor. I got my P-Line, who's been with me forever. Love P-Line. So grateful for P-Line. I got my first gen fishing, my Villain baits, Tackle Warehouse, all those. But those just keep my boat filled. Those, my line for the year, my baits for the year, my this. But if you want that $100,000 check for the average angler, you got to go outside that fishing industry, because they already got, their budget already spent for their, their superstars, and someone that's just getting into it, you're not just going to jump in this industry as a superstar.
No. Well, and I'm guessing that $100,000 checks just don't come flying out of the sky because you're a professional angler.
They don't.
It's saturated. There's a pie, and there's only so many pieces of that pie, and that piece of pie keeps getting smaller and smaller, and you're just trying to get a little sliver.
Well, on the way over, I was listening to BTL, and Panger had Hank Parker on.
I listened to that.
And Berkeley cut Hank Parker.
No way.
Yeah.
Berkeley. Let me say that again. Berkeley cut Hank Parker. They wanted to go in a different direction.
Wow.
Hank said he's had 3 sponsors, bait sponsors in his entire career.
Yeah.
So it was like Tom Mann. I can't remember the other one, in Berkeley.
Wow. He's been with Berkeley since I could.
40
Dude, if you watch,
years.
Yeah, if you watch his classic win in the 80s, I think he had dude, he's been with Berkeley forever.
Right.
Yeah. Trilene and
he made some references like AC Delco. I remember watching Hank Parker Outdoors and AC Delco, Chevy trucks, that was synonymous, but Hank Parker got cut from Berkeley. Like,
yeah.
Who in the marketing department thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, dude, that's just wild.
Well, so he's with X-Zone Lures now.
Yeah,
and he didn't know anything. He didn't know anybody else's products. He was so focused on Berkeley. He didn't know what else was out there. He told him about such and such bait. He didn't know because it wasn't Berkeley. That's all he used, and he was very, very, very loyal. So that's just the way things go nowadays. A lot of times, if you don't, companies get bought up, you get new management coming in, they move in a different direction, and somebody who's a legend gets cut.
Well, a lot of these companies like Berkeley.
Let me grab my charger real quick, guys.
You're good. You're good. These big companies, they're not owned by fishermen anymore. They're owned by a conglomerate or a third-party company that comes in and just says, hey, I'm going to buy this XYZ company.
They start looking at the bottom line. They're like,
this is what we're going to do. They got the bottom line. They're pro staff, and they're like, why are we paying these guys this amount of money when we're already selling product? And they cut them off. So understand, like, from the business side, that makes sense on paper, right? But for fish heads like you and I,
like 35 years with Berkeley. See the comment?
35 years with Berkeley, and he said it was a
mutual separation.
Yeah, mutual separation. It wasn't like there wasn't bad blood caused because of it.
Right.
But
well, he's a professional.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's not. Look at Hank Parker's. Look at his reputation. Look, I mean, I followed my whole. There's never not one person's gonna say anything bad about Hank Parker. He's like you said, he's a professional, dude.
Right.
Even if there was something there, you won't see Hank Parker like pushing that envelope at all.
No.
Yeah. Hank Parker is not going to be throwing elbows in the parking lot. He's
no. but look at and I want to tap on this. Like, I have nothing against YouTube, nothing at all against the YouTubers. I think YouTube, there's more to learn from. There's more information for these young anglers. I mean, I have nothing against them, but now look at it from a marketing situation. You got a tournament fisherman, say for like myself, who's fished tournaments my whole life, never had anything to do with any kind of YouTube or nothing, videos like that. I did all my sponsorship with my, my tournament finishes, my showing up to shows, meet and greets, all that side of it. But then you got YouTubers where these companies are like, well, these kids are putting out, these, 5 videos a month, 6-minute videos, and they're getting this many views, and we only got to pay them, a fifth of what we're paying you for the whole year. And so, I mean, it's like one side is cool that we got all this information. YouTube, I mean, it's great, but at another side, I think it's killing the industry as for the sponsorship side and the money side, because there's just too much money. There's you got 100 times as many patch pirates now that'll do anything to put their, sticker truck on your boat for a bag of worms.
Right.
You know what I mean? So these companies are weighing everything out, and there's just, I think, man, I don't know. It's hard now. I don't want to bag on no YouTubers because I'm always on YouTube watching stuff. So, but when it comes to sponsor dollars, it's just like, if you're not in the whole industry with the YouTube, this, that, blah, blah, you're going to miss out. I mean, that's where it's at. You're going to miss out on the pie.
I mean, I see the both sides of it, right? Like,
right.
I'm the business guy. I see the business guy that I can pay you X dollars in baits, and and let's be honest, like, I can get the impressions off of that YouTube channel. I know how far the reach was, how many folks watched that for how long, and what they saw in that video. With a guy like Bass Warrior here, like how many impressions did you have driving down, I-10? I don't know. Like
100%.
100%. Was your boat dirty and they couldn't see my logo on the side that day? So I get both sides of it, but what we were saying earlier, like that pie, you can only cut that pie so many times before you're not even eating a breadstick anymore. You don't even have a chunk of meat on it.
Right.
You're just getting a little bit. And the more YouTubers, the more professional fishermen that we have, that just gets smaller and smaller. And like you said, to go outside to get those non-endemics, that's where it's at, right? Like you don't go to Berkeley and say, hey, can I get a contract for $100,000? No, you go to XYZ construction company in Southern California and say, hey, guys, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take this, across the country. Not just here in SoCal. I'm going to New York.
100%. And that's also, I can't wait for going to Rayburn in a couple of years, because that's going to free me up to start doing videos. You know what I mean? It's going to free me up to say, okay, I'm going to spend this time between these tournaments to just make this video and get my content out there. Right now, I don't have the time for it. Like, I just don't. So I can't wait to start doing that. But another good example of someone who knew, like an older angler, let's say an older angler, experienced angler, that jumped on that YouTube because he knows he wasn't going to go nowhere with his tournament stuff. But look at Randy Blockett. I mean, for instance, let's throw Randy Blockett. He jumped on that wagon and dude, he's getting paid for the YouTube. I mean,
he's a master at that. So
his tournament stats are crap,
but he doesn't need it. He makes way more off of YouTube than he'll ever make off tournaments.
Ever. And the whole forward-facing sonar with him, like, I don't even want to get in that, because it's like people have their opinions and that's what it is. You ain't going to change that or whatever. But he was smart enough to just say, you know what? I ain't going to make it. I ain't going to get these sponsors with my tournament finishes. There's no way people are going to. So he jumped on that YouTube and, man, he's killing it, dude. He's
not going to get the clicks that he would get without hating on forward-facing sonar as much.
100%.
He started a movement. I mean, I'm not saying he started it, but he's definitely walking with a movement.
He's leading the crowd.
Dude. So all he has to do from now on is release a video about every couple weeks to just keep it rolling. And there's enough to it that it's just.
He's smart. Even though I don't agree with his forward-facing sonar shit, because I think forward-facing sonar is so freaking cool, dude. I think it's just, I thought I was pretty good at fishing, doing it my whole life. I thought I knew how bass acted in this, and then once I started with live scope the last 5 years, I'm like, dude, we've been fishing wrong for like 30 years. I mean, like when you can watch them
and throw it in the trash can, right?
Yeah, dude. I think it's cool. Forward-facing sonar is way cool.
Whatever I forgot about Randy Blockett though is he did like 2 years out of an aluminum boat, so he could prove that you don't need all that stuff on a boat to compete in bass tournaments. He did it out of like a 19-foot aluminum boat with a 2D graph on the front and a GPS unit on the back.
Did he didn't even cash, did he?
He may have cashed a few checks, but he didn't make it, obviously.
No, yeah.
So he went and got I think he's in a Skeeter, right?
I mean, if you want to bring that up, all you got to do is look at my buddy John Hawgz.
Right.
Yeah,
look at John, dude.
Hawgz is doing it,
I was just with him at Lanier, and I talked to them an hour after the tournament, and I'm like, dude, this was a total live scope deal. And you don't even have a graph on your boat. And you know what he said? He goes, dude, I just drove around for hours until I seen fish blow up. And once I seen fish blow up, pull around, start catching them. And then I'd wear them out there, get in my boat, start driving around, hour. Oh, there they are, blown up. I mean, dude, the guy's he's just so badass. Dude, John Hawgz is straight natural.
Well, he was on LBL the other day talking about putting a transducer on his boat next year, a live.
Yeah.
Oh, really? He's moving up, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I think Keith sort of is rubbing it because Keith, I think Keith's sort of in his ear about that. But
Yeah,
the thing with John,
dude.
he don't. I mean, when you're that good and you're that in tune with the fish and that natural with the fish, I mean, live scope or not, he's gonna catch them. He's just good.
Could you imagine how deadly he'll be with a wacky worm with live scope?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like, he kicks your ass without it. Like, imagine him with it.
Oh, I know, dude. I know. Crazy.
Give him a year or so to get dialed on it, and then look out.
Right?
I told this story a while back. My buddy Frank Williams, he fished on the coast side of the opens, and he fished as a boater this year, but he drew Cox. It was a couple years ago, and you know, John is so spread out doing all these tournaments all over the country and stuff that his tackle got misplaced or something. And Frank told me that Cox showed up literally with a brown paper sack of baits, like super minimal, and still, I think, cashed a check.
And no tackle on his boat.
No, he had a
few
rods, 5 rods or something. I don't know the exact story, but it was minimal stuff.
Yeah,
and
dude.
He still went out and kicked everybody's butt for the
most
part,
at least his boat drafted really shallow that day, so he could get back a little.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Dude, when he won that when he won that Rayburn event, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I think that was the first time he started cranking, and then he wins the event. Like he's like, oh, these crankbaits, I got to start throwing these, and he wins the event, dude.
Yeah, what was it? It was like a Fritz side or something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'll try this one. It looks cool.
Yeah, now he has his own cranking rod. But dude, someone like that, he keeps it simple. Like even with the live scope that I got the live scope now, dude, it really is nuts and bolts bass fishing. Like it really is simple. Half the time we overthink it, or we even in tournament fishing, like you could be on the winning spot and you could ruin that just because of your decision making and just overthinking the spot. If you keep it simple, that what I learned this last year, I kept it simple all year, and it was my best year by far ever. And I kept it simple. I didn't overthink. I didn't stress out. I didn't in practice. I just took every day for what it was, and I had the best year ever. And I kept it. I think I kept it more simple than any other year that I fished. And I had my best.
You got to take a lesson from your son. He talk about how he likes to punch and flip, and I mean, he's keeping it simple.
He is.
Denny Brower-esque, like old school, just going out and doing something that he's got a lot of confidence in.
Yep.
And whether that's throwing a giant glide bait or whether that's throwing a wacky rig Cinco in 2 feet of water, whatever you have confidence in, go do that.
Do you do that, Lewis? Like when you go to a lake, do you start out looking for like a certain bite just to kind of give you something to work off of, or how do you approach like a new lake?
So when I started touring 3-4 years ago back east, I haven't fished back east ever, just a couple championships, you know. But when I really started touring and fishing back east, I was all about homework, all about YouTube, all about, you know, how did these fish set up before I got there? Oh, I need this bait, this bait, this bait, this bait, because that's what everybody catches them on there. And I did all right. I think last year I had 3 top 10s. The year before that, I had 2 or 3 top 10s. I did all right. This year, I told myself I'm fishing me. I'm just fishing how I fish. I'm not doing no crazy research. I'll do research like just contours and stuff like that, and migration routes and stuff like that. But I'm not doing no bait, preconceived notions on any baits. And dude, I had my best year. I went out at Pickwick, had nothing going on. Had a shit practice, and I said, dude, I'm just gonna crank because that's what I do. I crank. No one could out crank me. I'm like pretty damn good at maybe KVD. But and then I was, you know, 3rd after day 1, 4th after day 2, and ended up getting a top 10, you know, fishing me. Ended up winning one this year, fishing me. You know, ended up, I think I had 4 top 10s this year out of 6 tournaments. Every tournament I fished me. I didn't go in like I just wanted to fish me this year, and it was my best year. Like, so I think from here on out, I'm in my career, I'm past the point of like dock talk. I'm more confident in myself. Like, hey, I went back east, lakes I've never been to, and I kicked ass. So now my confidence level is up here, and I know I could go to this lake with no preconceived notions with nothing. Just, you have 3 days of practice and do pretty damn good. Just fishing me.
You're looking for your pattern, not.
Yep.
You're gonna if it is a flipping bite and you're more confident cranking, you're going to try to find that cranking bite throughout the lake. Whether you got to run 50 spots in the tournament, you'd rather find that than
100%.
Even though on paper the tournament says you got to be flipping or you got to be, insert pattern, throwing a spinnerbait, which we don't throw spinnerbaits and we don't flip anymore. Everybody just throws a little Demiki rig and stares at a screen. But that's here nor there. But I like that because you're finding you're doing you're not doing what.
That's a pattern that's not a niche pattern like a top water. You're looking for a top water bite that's only good like a certain part of the day usually, or a really good certain time of the year. A crankbait is something whenever that top water bite's going on, a crankbait bite is still going on. That plays all year long for the most part.
All year long, you could catch them cranking all year long. Like
so that's a good pattern to look for.
Yeah, from January to December, I've caught bags cranking, dude. You could catch a crankbait is, if I can only have one bait all year, it would definitely be a crankbait. You could do so much with the crankbait. I mean, I got some crankbaits now. Some crankbaits now I could get down to 30, 35 feet, So I got some of these crankbaits. I can't wait to go to we're going to Pickwick in July. I think this year, June or July. I can't wait to get to those ledges, dude, because those fish, those big ones that roam in that 35, 40 foot, they're hard to get to react. That's seen every scrounger. That's seen every jig-headed half ounce, 3/4 ounce swim bait. I can't wait to go down there with this crankbait and just put a whooping on them. I can't wait,
I was throwing a 6XD today. And so wait, let me back up. Back to what you're talking about, how keeping it simple. Here's how my day went. This is not keeping it simple. And part of this is having a YouTube channel and trying to create different content. Right now, there's a frog bite going on. You can go out and catch them on a frog bite. There's an A-rig bite going on. Ron was on here. He said, sorry, late. His thumbs are sore. Yeah. That's the A-rig bite that's going on. There's a couple strong bites that are going on, but having a YouTube channel, if you do the video over and over on the same stuff, people don't want to see that, So I'm always out there trying to mix it up, and I confuse myself. I have a lot of not the greatest days on the water because I'm trying to keep it interesting. So I went out. I was going to try to do a video on the little minnow, the Demiki ballhead minnow thing, and I could do it on a certain lake, but I went to the wrong lake to do it on. So anyway, right. I just knew there's a spot where fish show up this time of the year, and you know where it's at. And I thought this would be a great place to make that video. Where they weren't there. They weren't. I don't know if I'm too late because I haven't been fishing this lake much lately. I've been fishing other stuff. I don't know if if I'm too late, they've already been there and moved on, or if they haven't showed up. I suspect they've already been there and moved on. But anyway, I had this thing in my head. Okay, I'm prepared. I'm going to do this video. I had all my gear set up and everything. Didn't work. So I messed with that. I tried to make it happen. It wasn't working.
Were they not there at all?
They weren't there at all.
Were they on the bottom?
They weren't there like they needed to be. And I should.
They weren't there for a video.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, they weren't in the movie star.
Because if you're doing YouTube videos, fish catches, get the views, get the clicks, get the you gotta have fish catches.
Yeah, nobody wants to see 20 minutes of you just like.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's when I switch to the next video.
Yeah. You want to see.
So I left that area, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go. There's some wind blowing down this bank. There hadn't been much wind. All of a sudden, there's a little bit of south wind, and I'm like, I'm gonna pick up a swim jig. I'm just gonna cover some water with the swim jig. I'm gonna cover this little couple 100-yard stretch, and I get in this little corner. I catch 3 fish. Boom, 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 on a white swim jig, like within 10 minutes. And before that, I just caught 1 crappie. So I'm like, okay, that's it. There's a swim jig bite going. I just need to follow the wind. Well, the wind quit blowing. And I'm like, so I kept forcing it. I kept trying to make it work. I went from a white swim jig to a green pumpkin swim jig. I'm like, damn, it's gone. So, and it gets dark early now. You don't have a lot of time to experiment.
Oh, yeah.
The day goes by pretty quick, So
that's the only reason you're on time for the shows anymore when it's wintertime and the time changes is
summertime I can fish till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna go try to find a frog bite for a little bit. I had a couple blowups on a frog bite, on a frog. It just wasn't feeling right. So I start punching a little bit, then I threw a crank. I was throwing a hybrid hunter a little bit, throwing a crankbait a little bit. Then I'm okay, I'm going to go throw just a jig. I'm going to go hit a couple points and throw a jig. Okay. I got a couple bites. They wouldn't pick it up. It just wasn't happening. Then I'm going to throw a shaky hit for a little bit. So I'm spread out all over. That's
he's all over the map.
I'm all over the place.
I'm already lost. Like you lost me at like first stop.
So here's the moral of the story. I picked a bunch of different baits and I really didn't get anywhere. So what you're saying was, back to what you're talking about, picking one thing and just running over. I should have ran different parts of the lake.
I was going to say, and better this time of the year.
I know better.
It's pick up something and stick with it all day long.
I know. And what I wanted to throw was a frog or a punch.
Yeah.
And I think I could have caught something like that. If I would have just kept that in my hand for 5 hours, I know I could have caught
I can tell you, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your YouTube channel, but I could watch frog blowups all day long. Like if you just had
I should have a frog.
You can watch Bobby Barrack all day long.
and boat flipping on 65-pound braid out of a mat, and just and then getting them out of the mat. Like I can watch that all day.
I can do that and only get a couple bites because that's just fun, Even if
it's awesome.
Get a couple bites is fun.
It's awesome,
right? Yeah. Do you guys watch Bobby's channel, Barrack's?
No, but I'm familiar with him.
Oh, dude, God, he's got that talent as a YouTuber or to make videos where you just gotta watch him because he's just the fish catches are crazy and he's just so knowledgeable and he's experienced and he's confident. I mean, just everything in an angler. And I grew up with him out here when he was at the Delta, and he just whooped our ass so many times. I mean. And now he's in Texas doing it, and the guy's just incredible. He's definitely one of my heroes, just to watch and just to learn from, and he's a good dude.
Yeah.
You ever want to learn about frog, and you talk to Bobby or watch Bobby, and you'll be a frog master.
Okay, I'm writing that one down too, man. I'm writing.
Yeah, you will be a frog master for sure, 100%.
Phil's being hardcore. He said the spinner bites going on at night at Clearwater. So just dress warm and get out there.
Yeah, it's 40-something degrees right now.
And you could still be home by supper right now with it getting dark early. So
yeah. Corey says he's late, but the short answer to the question he's referring to, our bass tournament's worth it, is no, but we do it anyway.
Was that your question?
No, that's the title of the video. Our bass tournament's worth it.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Because it's like where Lewis lives out on the West Coast, he's driving so much. We talked about the fuel prices. Is it really worth it? Well, that's a question only each individual can answer. That's up to the individual. Is it really worth it?
It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it, but if you don't have that support, that sponsor support, oh God, it's gonna wear you down. Like you have to have that sponsor support. You can't do it without them, unless you're rich, which 99.9% of fishermen aren't.
No,
it's like, how do you become a millionaire bass fishing and start with $2 million?
Right.
It's one of those crazy sports, and
but you know what? Here's how
it's worth it if you believe it's worth it, and if I believe it's worth it, and if Lewis believes it's worth it, then it's worth it. But that's an individualized question. Like if you ask our wives if it's worth it, they're probably gonna be like, spent what on what?
Yeah, but there's a difference in actually making a living at fishing versus just fishing some tournaments. I've been thinking about that a lot because like a lot of these fall tournaments, we'll pay $200-$300 entry fees, maybe not get a check, maybe get just a little small check, not enough check to cover your entry fees, and you're like, man, I'm just throwing money out the window. Well, you also do that when you go see Taylor Swift or when you go out to eat or you do whatever brings you pleasure. It's more than a hobby; it's a passion for sure.
Right.
But it's also one of those things that we're doing because we really love it. So you kind of sometimes you gotta look at it like that. It's a pastime, something we're doing with our money.
Well, it's funny you said that. I was just talking to Stewie Martell, Basszilla, who commented earlier. And last tournament, we were eating dinner, and we were talking about sponsor dollars and stuff. And And he's got, some bait sponsors and stuff like that. And, he's sponsored by Mercury, but his title sponsor is his own company. And we were talking and he's like, dude, he goes, I could take, 50 grand. And like you said, I could go to this concert. I could go to Vegas. I could go gamble. I could do this, but I won't not have as much fun as just sponsoring myself and doing these tournaments. It's just me and what I want to do. I would rather take 50 grand and fish tournaments rather than take 50 grand and go on vacation to Vegas and do all this stuff. Yeah. So, it's, and I could relate to him there, because if I had that kind of money too, I would definitely sponsor myself, and, rather than go on vacation, I would go fish turbs.
Yeah. That's kind of how I've been looking at it lately. Cause it's easy when you cash, you hit a top 10, you come home with a nice fat paycheck, but you start missing a couple checks and you're like, why am I doing this? Am I just wasting all this money? And then you have to remind yourself you're doing this because
you love it.
You love it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's who you are.
Yeah. It's your passion. You know?
Did we find something else about you tonight that we didn't know? That, like, I'm with Jay. Like, I like hunting and fishing. Do you like fishing?
Hey, everybody in my house is a Swiftie. I don't know where it happened. Well, it started with my daughter, Ella.
So you live in your house, right?
Hey, don't hate on Swifties. I'm a Swiftie.
There you go, right here. See, our guest is a Swiftie. Yeah. Hey, she's got some good tunes. She's
bad at
it. She's like master at marketing too.
Bro, if you followed her since she was a teenager, she's just like any bass fisherman, and the passion she has for her music. Like, she just like all of us when we were teenagers chasing bass and wanted to be a professional bass fisherman. You look at her, and all she wanted to do was write music, and she's at the peak. Dude, you gotta respect that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Didn't she win like America's Got Talent or something? It was one of those shows, I think. There was
maybe some. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. But when she first hit the scene, I think she was like 14 or 15, and that song she came out with, that was her own song. She wrote that song. She sang that. You know what I mean? That was her own deal.
Yeah, she was country, wasn't she?
And when you were in high school, if you were dating Taylor Swift, you were going to get a song wrote about you. I promise.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you can put that on your sponsor portfolio.
Yeah, John Mayer made her a lot of money.
Yeah, dude.
Corey, who fishes, I don't. He doesn't fish on the pro side. He was on the co side, I think, right?
Well, he won the AOI on the coast side 2 years ago.
I don't think he was fishing.
Well,
he'll chime in here in a little bit, but perspectives: 173 elite qualifying anglers last season. 225 total. Only 15 guys broke even. Put that in perspective.
But that's the Bass Opens. I mean, you're not there to make money at the Bass Opens.
No, but. Panger was talking about this on Zaldane's podcast the other day. It's like there's got to be some sort of balance between pro, AAA, grassroots. Like, you can't just go fish these tournaments, have a shot 9 and 225.
Yeah, 225 boats,
and just be pissing away money essentially.
Right? No, I agree.
Look how many really, really good anglers fished the Opens this year that didn't make it. Ish Monroe, Bobby Lane, Sam George. I'm gonna keep naming names, but I'll miss a handful. But like, there were some giant names out there that
hammers.
Just
Joey Nania. I mean,
thanks for donating. Right?
Yep.
So
no, I get that. I mean, I wish the Bass Opens would have a better. You know what I mean? Like, those guys are dedicated, man. They're not going to stop till they qualify, and it's just like the ones who the one that is taking the abuse is their families, dude. I mean, you're not bringing home a paycheck, you know.
What does it cost to get into an Open?
I think like I want to say 16 or $1,800. I thought.
I think it was 8. Matt said it went up $200 for next year.
It's $2,000 next year.
So I think it was
$1,800.
Yeah.
That's $18,000.
Yep.
Just straight off the top, like.
Plus, you're gonna have 30 in travel for. I figure each tournament is like $2,500 for gas, travel. I mean, just everything. Just add $2,500 to that entry fee.
Okay.
And that's without a tackle bill. You know what I mean? You know how fishermen are with you know what I mean? You know, so you figure each event for an open angler is at least $4,000 minimum, $4 to $5,000 each event. So you times that by 9, you're looking at 45 to 50 grand.
Plus a boat and a truck.
Yep.
So now you're at what, $250,000?
Yep.
Wow.
It's not a now. Can you do it with a 9? You can. Can you do it with an old beat up pickup truck? Absolutely, you can.
I mean, you can.
But it's not going to be a fun ride. I promise.
Well, look at that kid from. I don't know this kid. I just watched him, but he fished the MFL, the BFLs, and I think he fished the Invitationals. But Drew Gill, and he had that older Ranger.
Yeah.
And dude, he kicked ass last year.
He's a really good dude, man. Drew's a good deal. He's from Northern Illinois.
Dude, he kicked ass. Like I became a fan, dude. Like I rooted for him. I was pumped for him. Like I think he got second in some champ. I don't know, dude. He got third.
He got third in the Toyota Championship at Table Rock.
That's what it was.
The week before.
Yeah, third in that. And like,
who was the college guy?
I think at Eufaula. He got second at Eufaula to Kelly Jordan, I think it was. Like he put on a show, and it was all out of that older Ranger, dude. Like I was like, cool, dude.
Remember Louis Monetti?
Yeah.
In the Classic, like he was a college angler with the beat up
with the seats all torn.
Yeah. I mean,
so you can do it
look at Matt Robertson. Like he's still rocking a beat up pickup truck, I think, and a on boat essentially. Like it looks good because it's wrapped, but
it's older.
The grass are falling out, and it's getting him back and forth. But like, how hard of a life is that when your stuff doesn't work?
Yeah. When your stuff don't work, when you put all the time in, and second day of the tournament, and something quits working, and you got a bag of fish, dude, that's when the voices start coming. You know what I mean? That's
when that gorilla jumps on your back and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and eventually you just cave, right?
Yep.
So the NPFL, some of the things that stand out to me about it that I like are everybody gets to fish 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the drive-through weigh-in. I like that.
Dude, that's freaking cool.
Yeah. You drive right up to the stage, you jump out. That's kind of how the Bassmaster Classic is.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah.
I like that. It makes sense. Everybody gets to see the truck and the wraps and stuff, and you pull right up there, and it's just very interactive to the people that are watching. There's a lot going on right there. It's just not somebody walking out from the back behind the stage, dropping the fish on. You see somebody pull their fish out of the boat, jump on stage, and boom, weigh it in. I really like that. So what's your thoughts on the NPFL so far? Obviously, you're your third year. You
dude, I love it. I love it, dude. I fished them all, dude, and NPFL's got it, dude. They do. They're gonna. They're all for the anglers. And granted, it's only their third year going into their fourth year. I know that a lot of people are like, well, they've only been there 4 years. Blah blah blah. I get all that, but dude, I fished a lot of circuits, and those guys are the real deal. And they're all about marketing. They want to market you. They want to blast you all over. They want to show you off. They want to. They're just. It's and you know what the cool thing about it is? There's no BS. Like they're all about if you got a problem, you handle it on the water, dude. Handle it. You guys are professional fishermen. Don't bring that. Don't bring that shit back to the dock. You guys are professional fishermen on the water. Handle it. Do your talking with your rods. Like that's what I like. It's like old school bass fishing. It's like go catch your 5 and bring them in. There's no BS. There's no like they don't play favorite. Just because I'm the bass warrior, they don't favor me no more than they favor the next guy down the line. Everybody's equal, and I just see how hard those guys work for the anglers, and that's what I like.
Yeah,
you don't. All the stuff going on with MLF right now, I don't fish MLF, so I'm not going to, really say nothing about it. But there's a lot of BS going around the industry right now. And I'm just glad the NPFL, there's nothing going on in the NPFL right now that, it's smooth sailing with us. It's just, and if there is, you know what else I like? If there is a problem, it gets brought up in the meeting. It gets like, we're going to bring it to the table. Like, there's no behind anybody's back. Well, let's swoop this under the rug here. Let's do this. It gets brought to the table. It gets to everybody's attention. Like, no, this is the rule, or this is this, or this is that. Just so everybody knows. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
and you could tell, like, they're got to be doing something right. If now this year we got 8 or 9 elite guys, we got a handful of invitational guys now. Like,
that's what I was going to ask you. So 2023, 75 guys fishing for $100,000.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. That's one of the carrots too, right? 75 guys, 1 in 75 chance
that's huge
to win 100,000.
Yeah,
like
that's
dude.
Yeah,
they kept to their word though. That's what kind of people. That's what kind of that shows you their their reputation. That shows you what kind of humans they are. Like, okay, we only got 75 people, but you know what? We promised you guys $100,000, and $100,000 you're going to fish for.
Well, like, and let's be honest, like NPFL hasn't been without its like ups and downs, right?
Oh, dude, it's been hurdle after hurdle.
Right. Panger said it. It was on was Zaldane. Like, they've got 9 lives and they've already used 3 of them. They're the cat that's struggling right now, but they're doing well. Like, they came through with this year and
dude, they could have easily closed their doors last year and said, you know what, guys, we don't have enough boats. But this is how bad they want it. You know what I mean? This is how bad NPFL wants it. This is how bad they want their guys to fish. They want it just as bad as the fishermen do. That's the cool thing.
It goes back to the original question posted. Are bass tournaments worth it? And they believe that it's worth it.
100% worth it.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Continue. No, that was great. I don't even remember what I was going to say. I was just
and then you got Al. Al, he is my bro, dude. Al is like,
dude, man.
He's my brother, dude. He is, I think, hands down, he's the best MC in the country, dude. Like,
he's fun. He's a fun guy.
Dude, he makes you feel so good, dude. And every angler on that stage, he will blow your sponsors up. He will blow you up. He will make you feel like you just won the Bassmaster Classic, dude. Every angler, every day, tournament day, he's in his RPMs are in the red. Every tournament, you won't see him slacking, dude.
So you were talking about the Elite Series anglers that were coming in. That's where you were going.
Oh yeah. So
has the roster been announced for next year yet?
It hasn't. And I don't know if I'm allowed to
disclose.
Disclose anything. But I'll tell you this much, dude. It's gonna be a roster for It's
look out, huh?
Look out, dude. It's gonna be. Oh God, I can't wait. I can't. And
hold on. Old school hammers or new school hammers?
Both.
Oh,
nice.
Both. Dude, this roster is like, I wish I could disclose it, dude. I just so wish.
Is it finalized yet? Like 100%?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. Signed. Well, the ones that signed their contract.
Okay.
So the ones that are locked in, yeah.
Awesome.
And when this roster comes out, you guys are going to trip out because it's like you got new hammers, you got old hammers, you got legend hammers. You got like, I mean, you want to throw Hank Parker's name earlier. I'm not saying Hank Parker's fishing, but there's a couple legend that has Hank Parker status coming, dude. So it's cool, dude. Is
the initials really coming? Come on, tell me the initials is coming.
Tell you what?
The initials is coming.
No, he's done. KVD. He's done.
Oh, no. I wish, dude. I wish.
How legit would that be? He chucks the deuces to MLF and then like immediately goes back. I have a feeling he'll be back in Bass in no time.
I think so. Like once you have that blood in you, like, oh, there it is. Look at it.
What is this?
No, wait. That's hold on 1 second.
Was that Basszilla that put that up there?
No, that's me. Hold on. I was gonna pull up the actual roster, not the roster, but the schedule for next year.
Oh, I was gonna say, was that the roster? I was like, did they already post it? And I don't know.
We were trying to trick you.
That one. That's what you just pulled up.
No, that's the standings. Yeah. So you finished 8th. It was tight right in here. Like
you don't have that pulled up.
1384. I've got it.
You got it?
Yeah, it's somewhere back here.
I mean, I'm saying you don't have that on our screen. We're just talking.
Let me see here. Yeah, there we go.
Dude, after you see this roster, though, guys, one more over. And all fishermen from every organization's talk. We all talk to each other. After you've seen this roster that the NPFL is doing something right when you see the roster come out.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's cool. I mean, it's got to be cool for you to, the more the merrier, getting to fish with people that, are on other leagues that are coming over, like Patrick Walters, John
100%.
They're in other leagues. It's cool to meet like that.
My portfolio goes up when those guys come over. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's good for my sponsors, dude. It's like, I think it's awesome. I think it's only going to get better. The more, the merrier. Bring it.
Yeah. Lake of the Ozarks. That's cool, man. It's amazing how a lot of these big circuits have started to come to Lake of the Ozarks this last year or two. I like it. So you got.
Well, did you see Eufaula, Oklahoma? Like, no one's ever heard of a tournament at Eufaula, Oklahoma. And look at the last 2 years. Like, there's been like 4 or 5.
Yeah, you've heard of it though, right?
Not as a tournament lake before then. Or before I won. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah. So
Logan. So we got Logan Martin
championship coming up on March.
Yeah. Logan Martin, Hartwell, Pickwick, Saginaw Bay, St. Johns River, Lake of the Ozarks. Which one do you have earmarked? What's your asterisk?
You fished Pickwick this year, right? Or last?
I fished Pickwick 2 times. I got a top 10 there one time, and the other time was my first time there. It was actually my first time ever ledge fishing ever. Okay. I think I got like low 40s. I was on the right fish. I just didn't know how to catch them. You know what I mean? Like I was on them. I think I was next to John Sokup. He top 10. I was next to a couple other guys. I just didn't know how to catch them. It was my first time ledge fishing, but the one that I is setting my heart on is that championship, Amistad.
Fair.
That's the one I think I could blow away, because that sets up like a California deal. It really sets up just like a California lake. It really does. I just think when I go there, I'll have no problem breaking that lake down, which I could be wrong, but I just don't think I'll have a problem there.
So that's going to be a pre-spawn thing? Probably?
Yep. Yeah, we'll be the first week in March, I think.
Okay.
And then Saginaw, I was after day 1 at Saginaw this year, I was in second. But I largemouth fished the whole time. I couldn't dial in those smallmouth. And I knew after day 1, like I cracked a big bag, a largemouth. I was in second behind Patrick by like a pound or something. And I knew in my heart, I didn't have the fish to win. You know what I mean? I just knew. He was on those smallmouth, and if you're on those smallmouth there, those dominate, those largemouth don't stand a chance. When you're catching smallmouth there, those largemouth don't stand a chance.
So what about Lake of the Ozarks? Any experience?
Never been there.
Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about Lake of the Ozarks. It's got 70,000 docks.
Yeah.
So
that's what I heard.
practice your dock skipping for sure, because it's got plenty of docks, and it has some big waves too. They get some serious boat traffic on that lake.
When are they going to Ozarks?
October 20th.
You'll be fine.
No, you won't.
The cool thing about the Ozarks is there's so much on TV about Ozarks, and so much good tournaments, like tournament footage, and like And I know they eat the glider there, and I throw glider pretty damn good. I got gliders in my truck that no one's ever seen, like special Cali gliders that just I can't wait to bust them out at the Ozarks.
That's that West Coast thing. Are there any like techniques or baits that are going on or kind of brewing out that way that you think are going to be coming, east? It used to be like the Japanese anglers would show up out on the West Coast, and that's where a lot of stuff was started, and would kind of move to the
trickle to you guys.
Yeah, right. Now it seems like a lot of the East Coast some of the techniques are showing up out on the East Coast too.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yeah. You guys are really jumping in front of the, you guys are really getting your hands in on all that stuff. I don't think I think here's the deal. I think everything's out in bass fishing, and pretty much everybody knows pretty much, the deal on pretty much every little secret bait, I think California still has some gliders that you guys don't know about yet, some swim bait stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, everybody pretty much knows everything. I mean, the social media now that we all have, I mean, there's hardly no secrets no more. I mean, there's really not.
That JDM market, like, it's so readily available now.
Oh yeah. Back in the day, even 5 years ago, like I could get stuff that no one, just like you said, that JDM stuff, everybody has it. Now they have stores that are just straight JDM. Like, what do you like? Everybody's available. Everybody has it, so. But there's still some glide bait makers out here in Cali that only sell to California guys, and it's, we got some special ones, dude.
Is that just local custom stuff?
Local custom stuff, yeah. Good stuff. I mean, good stuff. Yeah, it's just like that crankbait. I got a crankbait that goes 35 feet, hands down, 100%. Like, you could see it on my live scope, touching 35 and still wanting to dig. Like, yeah, I got some stuff.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I remember back in the day though, I used to take my DD22s, and right behind the front hook, I would drill it out, right? And I'd fill it with water, and then I would JB weld a little, over that hole, and I could get that DD22 down there. It would mess with the action a lot, but back in the day, we used to get them down to 30 foot,
You lose a lot of them at 30 feet too?
Oh yeah. Like at Clear Lake, I would buy this one color back in the day. It was the old DD22 though. It was just all red glitter with a black top. I don't know if you guys know that color. Yeah. But I would buy 25 of them, and I'd lose every one of them in that tournament. Every single one of them, dude.
I have some Pose crankbaits that somebody drilled a hole in the bill, and you take a bolt and a nut.
I've seen that.
And sand it down to where it's smooth.
Yeah.
So, really? So you can work it through brush because the hooks are behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drops like a rock. In fact, I've got a couple of them, and I haven't tied them on since I've got live scope to see what they're actually doing on the bottom.
They go.
But I guarantee they're standing up vertically like this.
Oh yeah.
And that way when you run into stuff, the hooks are on the back side.
Yeah, or they put washers on each end of the bill. I've seen washers too. They put washers on each end of the bill.
Yeah, same concept basically.
Yeah.
What's this about a signature series rod?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Basilio did that. Yeah. So I've been sponsored by iRod for years now. And I'm coming out. I just got the prototype done. I actually fished the prototype all month. I mean, it's sick, dude. It's a 7.4. If you guys are iRod fans, look at the iRod Corcus. Brandon Card got 3 signature series rods with the Corcus. Bobby Barrick has his big frog rod and short frog rod. And then I have coming out in the spring, I have my 744. It's called a Bass Warriors Workhorse. I mean, dude, this rod is sick. If you want a rod for throwing buzzers, toads, 3/4 ounce chatterbaits, it's a 7.4 heavy mod though. It's a mod. It's in between a mod fast tip, so you can still pitch. You can still skip docks with it, but buzz baits, toads, anything you want to wind like that with braid, grass baits, 3/4 ounce chatterbaits. This is the rod, dude. I mean, we put some time into this rod just to get it perfect. And it really is, dude. It's coming out in the spring. It's iRod Corcus, Bass Warriors Workhorse. Guaranteed. I guarantee 100% you'll have 10 on the deck, 5 with braid and 5 with fluorocarbon, because it's the utility rod of all utility rods, dude. Like, it's really a sick rod.
Is it cork handle, EVA?
It is cork handle. It is cork handle. So the prototype, so get this. So the prototype was full cork. I wanted full cork at first. Bobby has his frog rods in full cork. I love the way that felt. And then I started using it all month, and for throwing buzzers and toads and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, full cork. And then I started wanting to skip and flip and do all this stuff, and I'm like, man, I wonder if I should change it to split grip, right? I said it does feel a little better, and I can still do this. So then last minute I called Matt. I'm like, dude, I want to change it to split grip. So he emails me 2 days later. He goes, sorry, dude, the factory already started making your rod. It's coming out in full grip. He's all, but here's the deal. We'll come out full grip and split grip. So the first run's going to be full grip, full cork. You could get it in full cork. And then, the second run's going to be in split grip. So we're going to have both of them. So cool. I'm down with that.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's a big deal. That's a really cool thing.
It's a good rod, dude. I can't wait for you guys to try it. Remind me and I'll send you guys one. It's a sick rod, dude. I mean, just
7.4 is such a good length.
It's
a perfect length. I think my favorite rod is like a 7.3 or a 7.4. You can just you can do almost anything with that length.
But a lot of the 7.4s on the market, they're too fast. Which I mean, for a 7.4, you're really throwing a jig, something like that. So I wanted a 7.4 that had real strong backbone, but still had that heavy mod tip. Mm-hmm. That mod where it it would bend 4 eyes down and then shut off. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to find a good buzzbait rod, toad rod that when you're flying down when you're running down the bank, you want that rod to load up when you're skipping a dock or even laydowns or underhangs it's all in that cast too. It's not just what the rod could do with the bait after you cast. I mean,
what's that hook set too, right? Like, you got a buzzbait, you got a toad, and one of them rolls up on it, 2 cranks in, and you give them one of these, like
you want that thing to shut off quick.
Well, and with that mod, it gives you a little bit of forgiveness too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, lets them get it.
We're all a little guilty of letting one fly, right?
100%.
Like,
and you know how light those toads and frogs and buzzbaits are when it's hard to load those things and still have a rod that'll shut off, a quarter, a quarter down the rod,
What's it rated for? Like, can you throw ploppers with it?
100% plopper rod, 100% ploppers, your plopper style baits, it's rated. I think we rated it, I want to say 1/4 ounce to 1 3/4 ounces, I think rated.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a lot of stuff then.
Yeah. Huh. It's sick, dude. We worked hard on this rod. Like, I wanted it perfect. And we got it perfect. We got it.
That's awesome. That's exciting, man. That's exciting.
It's a longer, like I do like a short swim jig rod when I'm tight quarters. But when I'm covering water and docks and stuff, I'll throw a swim jig on this rod too. Like dude, when you cast this thing, it just loads up so dang.
What's your handle length on it?
I think it's 14.5.
Okay. So not super long.
Not super long, but not super short either. Like if I put it in my forearm, it's about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch before the bend of my forearm. Okay. So it just lays right there. You know what I mean?
Well, with a buzzbait, like I work a buzzbait a lot, and I'm sure you do too. Like you get this time of the year, you got your hoodie on. I don't want that. I don't want it in my pouch, right?
Exactly. If I'm working something, I don't want it hitting my stomach, hitting my waist, hitting my elbow.
Right.
So that's why I stopped it about 1/2 inch before that. You know what I mean? So I still get that foundation, that support of that forearm, but then it's not too long where it's hitting, like you said, my sweatshirt.
Troy's throwing some shade on you, man. He said all you use it for is a 4-inch Cinco. Don't let him.
Oh, is that Troy, my son?
He called you out. You might have to holler at him and tell him he needs to go to bed. I mean, it's well, you're on Cali time, so it's only what, 7:30 there?
Yeah, 7:30.
Oh, it's 9:30 here. It's
yeah.
Nothing wrong with a 4-inch Cinco though. I mean,
come on, if you're gonna throw a Cinco, throw a 5-inch Cinco. I mean, come on,
6-inch.
Hey, we throw the Cinco out here though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I a lot of money on that Cinco.
Yeah, it's the stupidest looking thing, but it works.
I've got my butt kicked front, back, side. It doesn't matter by that thing.
I've had several team tournaments where the guy in the back of my boat is just whacking them. on a Cinco.
Oh yeah.
He just slack lines it and just lets it sit, and then moves it a little bit, lets it sit. And next thing you know,
and then tick.
Yep.
You hear that? You see that line? Tick. Oh, yep. We love it.
Crazy.
We throw it out here.
Yeah. Everybody on here, we are going to do a Baitworks giveaway here in just a little bit. So everybody knows how the Baitworks giveaway works. If you don't know, Lewis gave us a number. And when I make a reference to a Sasquatch,
between 1 and 200, by the way,
you guys guess the number between 1 and 200, and whoever gets the number that the Bass Warrior told us, they get the Baitworks gift card. A couple more questions here. This has been pretty fun. Actually, what about Lake Eufaula? How did that? So you won the Eufaula event.
Won that.
Talk a little bit about that tournament, like the practice, and then how the actual tournament went.
So it's such a cool story, dude. Like I get choked up because it's just like, so a month and a half before the tournament. So here's how my schedule goes. Being from California, I go to the tournament, I fly in, fish the tournament, and then after that tournament, I drive to the next tournament. Spend 4 or 5 days on that tournament, leave my truck and boat there, and I fly home. So my truck and boat's at that tournament when I got to fly back.
Oh, okay.
So I drove to Eufaula, Oklahoma after, I think, Saginaw, wherever we were at. And I told myself, you know what? I did all my research, and I was like, I know it's going to be tough. I see the weights from past tournaments, team tournaments. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's supposedly the worst time of the year to catch them there. September is like the toughest. So I told myself, I'm going to just idle for 4 days straight, not fish. I'm going to, because Eufaula's huge, dude. I mean, huge. So I'm going to just graph Main Lake so my fish can replenish whatever I do find. So I found this spot in pre-practice, like just one spot. It had like 10 brush piles in a big circle in a 20 yards, area. It had 10 brush piles. They were just crappie brush piles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I caught a few fish there, and I'm like, okay, there's a school here. I mean, there's resident fish here. So when I came back, I didn't even mess with it the first day. I was like, I'm just going to go fish shallow, go do me, Second day of practice, I went out there, and I didn't catch a fish the first day of official practice. Never caught a fish. And so I said, okay, I'm going to start out there. I went out there second day of practice, threw one time, bloop, 3-pounder. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I left it. So in pre-practice, I didn't bang on them at all to know what really lived out there. And the second day of official practice, I didn't bang on them. I just caught 3-pounder and I left. So I fished the rest of the second day of practice and the third day of practice in Main Lake, just doing me, right? Never found nothing I was like comfortable in. So first day of the tournament, I go out there. I had a limit, and granted, it's tough. Everybody's talking about it's going to be tough getting a limit. So I go out there first day of the tournament, and I catch my limit by 9:30, and I dump a 4.5-pounder. Good one. So I left them because I knew about fish management. I'm like, you know what? I got my limit. I'm happy. Cool. I'm going to go. I flipped some big ones in practice on docks. So I'm going to go to the docks. Hopefully I can flip a 6 or 7 or 5 or 6 or 7. Never happened. So I left.
Did you have that original spot to yourself that morning?
I did.
Okay.
Yep. So the second day of the tournament, I go out there, and it's so funny because I stop on this riprap bank probably 50 yards from the spot. It just looked juicy first thing in the morning. I'm like, I'm going to throw a buzzbait along this riprap, and maybe I'll catch a 5 before I go out to that spot. So I'm out like on my last cast on this riprap with the buzzbait, and another competitor, Hunter Bogman, I mean, he shuts down right before out there. He knew what was out there. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart dropped. I'm like, why did I start throwing topwater? I should have just went out there. And he looks at me and he yells, hey, is this yours? Are you coming out here? And I was like, no way. I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, I'll give it to you. I'm like, no way, dude. So
did you solid.
Dude, did me so solid. Go out there. I catch, again, my limit by, 10 o'clock, and I dump like just a gorilla, dude. This fish was over. I mean, just because when you hit them with light line in those piles, when you're live scoping, you hit them, the water's so hot, you're fishing 90-degree water, they come up way out there, and this thing jumped, and it was like, dude, it was over 6, dude. It was just a pig. So again, I was happy with my 5 bites. I was like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay out here just because I lost that big one, because at that point, I still didn't know I was on the winning spot. I really didn't, because I haven't had a chance to just sit out there and know what was really out there. I left, and then I talked to Hunter that night, tell him, thanks, bro. Like, he goes, dude, here's the deal. You're in 5th, because I was in 5th after day 2. He goes, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. I'm in check contention. If I could come out there at noon tomorrow, can I come in and share those with you? I said, dude, come on out at noon. 3rd day I'm out there. I have 2 fish at 11. I'm already like, the wheels are spinning. I haven't lost them. Yeah. So at noon, here comes Hunter. He's like, dude, how you doing? I was like, dude, I got 2 fish. He goes, I'm out. Good luck. Go win this thing. I'm like, okay. And then, dude, I just went to work. I ended up catching like 4 or 5 more keepers after that, 1 5-pounder. And that was it. I won dude. And still, the night of day 2, I told myself, dude, you are actually on the winning spot. You would be blowing this tournament away. If you would have caught that 4 on day 1 and that 6 today, you would be blowing this thing away. And so I told myself, dude, I'm out there. From when we launch, I'm out there all day. I'll never fire that big motor. And I stayed out there all day. And luckily I got those 3 or 4 bites in the afternoon, and ended up weighing 15 pounds that day. I mean, you know how the weigh-in went. We ended up tying. But the funny thing is about that weigh-in, this is when it's like meant to be. I had 12 ounces of fish care penalties. I lost 1 that was over 6, 1 that was over 4. I did everything to lose really this tournament, even on the last day. And I figured this out on day 3, talking to Patrick. He goes, because I never had a dead fish all last year or this year. And I had a dead fish 1 day of the tournament. I had 1 per each day of the tournament, 3 dead fish, 12 ounces. And Patrick goes, dude, you had a batch of bad ice. Like, he goes, where were you getting your ice from? I told him. He goes, dude, that's bad ice. So, and it's funny, on day 3, I opened my live well to put my 5th one in there, and all of them are upside down, all 5 of them. They're like barely. So I drained the whole live well. I pumped fresh lake water into it. I pumped new G juice. I bring 4 of them back to life, and the big one I couldn't, it was just barely hanging on, and it died by the time we got to the weigh-in. But
so you got ice at the same place every time?
Yeah, because it didn't click. It didn't like register. It was only, you're fishing 90-degree, lake water. I'm figuring they're just stressed out, one, it wasn't like all of them died. It was just 1 died on day 1, and then 1 died on day 2. And it still didn't click like I thought, but then and it should have clicked earlier, because I never had a dead fish all last year or this year. Like my fish care penalty. My fish care is just immaculate. You know what I mean? And to bring those fish back, to get them to life, and then to tie that, and then win by the tiebreaker was really meant to be. It was just, when it's your turn, when they say it's your turn, it's your turn.
Yeah, you hear people say that, but until you actually live it, you don't realize what that cliche means.
Well, let me tell you another story real quick about when it's your turn, it's your turn. So my little brother-in-law is Patrick too. He's been fishing with me since he was 10 years old. I took him under my wing, and we've been, bass bros for, 20 years now. But he just fished the US Open 2 weeks ago, right? And he was on them, dude. He got 3rd last year, and then he ended up getting 2nd this year. But let me tell you a story of him getting 2nd this year. He lost the US Open by 2 ounces at Lake Mojave, the 200 grand US Open, blah, blah, blah. But he lost by 2 ounces. And let me tell you, when it's your turn, it's your turn. The guy who ended up winning it, like pulled off some crazy fish catches, like stopped 2 minutes before the weigh-in, ended up catching a 4-pounder on just a nut, just dropped the live scope. It happened to, I mean, it was crazy for him. But my little brother-in-law lost 8 fish over 4.5 pounds throughout the whole course of the 3 days of the tournament. 8 fish over 4.5 pounds. And then on the last day, his co-angler nets almost a 5-pound smallmouth, and was just in the days of just bringing him over the boat, you know, like we all scoop it in the boat quick. Well, he was just like, did a slow-mo and was barely lifting it. And the fish ended up coming off, jumping out of the net, and then, you know,
really
jumping off. But he lost the U.S. Open by 2 ounces.
That never happens.
It's so rare. That's what I'm saying. When it's your turn, you know, when it's your turn, it's like it's your turn, and when it's not, it just is not. You know what I mean? Like he should have won that tournament a million times over. Like he was just on him, like he had the bites, everything, but just nothing went right for him. And the guy who won it, you know, he won the tournament, but you know, everything went right for him. I mean, some miraculous fish catches, which Kyle Grover, who won it, dude, he's a hammer. He is.
Well, I mean, you talk about that stop, right? Like how many times that we've all made that stop on the way in? Like I got 2 minutes, like let's hit this little rip wrap. And there's 10 other guys doing the exact same thing, right?
That's what he said. He did a podcast the other day, and he's like, dude, I made the stop. There's 10 boats this way, 10 boats that way. And I just happened to, you know what I mean? It's just like when it's your turn, it's your freaking turn. And I'm not taking nothing away from Kyle. The dude is a hammer in the SoCal. Like he is just a straight hammer. But when it's your turn, it is definitely your turn, and nothing's going to get in the way.
So back to you, how big was that spot that you were fishing out there?
Dude, it was only 20 yards by 20 yards was the brush piles. And then, but all my big bites came like 20 yards off the brush piles. They were just roaming. Like it feels like those brush piles were full of crappie. And when I got to spend some time out there and know how those big ones were actually acting, those big ones would sit off the brush pile like 10 yards, 5, 10, 15 yards, and they would roam, and then they would come in, and I think they were just picking off crappie out of the brush piles, like boop, eat a crappie, and then swim back out and go roam around. You know what I mean? So all my big bites didn't come on the actual brush pile. I scoped them off the brush piles, just roaming. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I would catch keepers on the brush piles. Don't get me wrong. I'd catch keepers, but the big bites came off the roamers off the brush pile.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that today. I saw that today. Like brush piles full of crappie and big fish just kind of sitting off to the side. You know, those big hard returns. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's the buffet right there, and they just cruise in, eat, and they go back out and
that's what I'm learning too. Like when I break down lakes now, I try and find those isolated little boulders, because those isolated little hard spots, those little boulders, is where you're gonna get the big ones. Like when I almost won Erie last year, I think I got 5th or 6th there, and I only had four fish on the last day. Like if I would have had, like I should have won. Like damn, I was that close. But all my big ones came on one boulder, like one little boulder. I'd catch a 6-pounder, 5 or 6 pounder, leave it alone, and another one would set up on it. Those bigger lone wolf fish, they like to roam by themselves and sit on little isolated hard spots, or little, you know, one big boulder, but two it's like out in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. So that one boulder, you caught those fish off of one. It's like what's so special about? There's all kinds of boulders in the lake, right? Why are they on that boulder? I mean, it's
isolated all by itself.
Well, I think about stuff like that. Like, why do you catch it on this grass stretch? Why do you catch it on that boulder? Why do you catch it on that stump? Well, you caught a big one. This is my theory. Like, that's the perfect home for him, right? Now, there's a 2-pounder over here on the next stump down. That's the perfect home for him. And you catch a 2-pounder and you don't think anything of it, but you catch a 6-pounder. Like, why was he right there and not right? Why was there not 6 of them? Well, there's not that many 6-pounders. Like,
but you can take him out of there,
and another
one would come in.
Will move in a couple days.
Yeah,
it's like there's something going on that's pulling that fish to that certain area.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's like a channel swing, or you know, a point that's got the drop off, or a bluff in or something. But sometimes it's just like
the buffet is there.
It's just it's kind of random, you know.
Why Just like that spot at Erie, just random. Like there's beautiful boulders everywhere, isolated, but that one little, like it was a good sized boulder, but it wasn't as pretty as some of the other boulders I had. But just that one bowl, I could count on that thing to catch 3 or 4 or 5 pounders off that thing a day. Like it was just money boulder.
That's awesome. That's the stuff that wins tournaments. It's just like the championship at Amistad. Like you look at some of the videos and they talk about the magic tree, where you're going to find the one tree. I mean, there's trees, flooded trees all over Amistad, but guys find those one magic trees where it's loaded 30 pounds are in that, 30 pounds, Yeah.
And whoever's the best with their forward facing that day is,
or whoever works the hardest.
Yeah. Well, if you watch the elite videos back in the day when they didn't have forward facing sonar, they would just back off those things and throw those big swim baits by them. And just, when Steve Kennedy found that magic tree, and he just loading, just like,
I've watched that Clear Lake Kennedy swim bait video like 3 or 4 times. I watched it a couple months ago. Man, that was crazy.
Sick, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
where he
lets go of the big one, right? Like,
okay, he's hooking them in the outside of the mouth.
Yeah, where he caught those couple big ones on that point is where I caught that 14.5.
Oh, are you serious?
At Clear Lake on the same bait he was throwing that.
That's funny.
That's dude.
Funny.
Yeah. I was throwing a different. I was throwing a weighted down one, and I caught that thing out of 25 foot of water, but same bait. You know what I mean? Same point. That's awesome. I was just throwing it in 30 foot, and he was throwing it on the surface.
He had to keep throwing those things back because it's California law. They got to be hooked inside the mouth.
Is that still the law out there?
Yeah.
God, that's hard to watch.
Could you imagine though, like catching the winning bag of fish like 4 times and
could you imagine throwing those back when you have skeet reese on your tail and it's his home lake and just I couldn't imagine what he was going through. But look how cool he keeps his demeanor and everything when he's doing that. Like
Steve's like, I don't care about anything.
He just chuckles and keeps going.
He's got ice flowing through his veins, dude. Like he's really just a tremendous fisherman, and just like his mental side of fishing is just crazy on point. Like nothing rattles him. Like nothing. And look at his reels and stuff. Did you notice his reels? He uses the old school green Corrados. Remember the big old
the B not the E's, the B series.
The B series. I mean that shows you his confidence level and what he believes in and just what makes him him. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gonna rattle that guy.
So there was that estate sale, that auction for I can't remember the guy's name around here, and there was like a half a dozen.
Kesey, wasn't it Bill Kesey?
Yeah, Kesey. Yeah, Kesey. There was a half a dozen or so old green Corrados that were in the auction. Well, like he had thousands of dollars or thousands of items of crappie fish and stuff, and just handfuls of like I walked through the whole thing, and they had it all separated out in tackle boxes or whatever. And you'd open a tackle box and you'd see like one wart in there, and they were going to sell that tackle box. It's like, damn it, I don't want the rest of that crap. I just want I want the original wart that's in there. But you'd find like 5 or 6 of those outside of that box, just randomly placed. It's like they did it on purpose, right? They knew some.
Oh yeah, they knew what they had.
Like myself would be thumbing through there. Well, unfortunately, there was some other geeks there that wanted to spend a lot more money than I did on fishing tackle. Like I'll go to a point, but like I'm not going to spend $70 on an original or a green Corrado, the B series. Like not going to do it. That's just not worth it to me. When a couple more bucks and I got a brand new one, right?
Yeah,
that's probably 10 times the reel. So
right. So I scored. So I roomed with, you guys know John Soka, who made the elites. And so we roomed together on season 1 or 2, I forget, of the NPFL. We stayed together. We roomed together all year. And he gets sponsored by, I don't know, I think Dio or something. I believe it's Dio. Dude, he had a whole box of the Corrado E's. Left-handed like me, and he had a handful, like 9 or 10 of the B's in there, and like probably 15 of the Corrado E's, the green ones. all had the ice gears in it. He re-geared them. Like, he's real meticulous with his stuff. And I'm like, dude, what are you going to do with those? He goes, I don't want them, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, what do you want? And it had like 4 metaniums in there, the old school, the light metaniums, not the newer metanium, but the light aluminum ones. Yeah. He had like 3 or 4 in there. He had, dude, I don't know, there was like 30 reels in there. I'm like, well, what do you want for him? He's like, just give me a couple grand. I'll give you everything in here. Dude, I paid him right on the spot, dude. So I'm all stocked up for those Corrado E's, dude. I got.
So the one that I saw that amazed me was the cranking reel, and it was like a 3.7, I think.
Oh wow!
Really?
I never seen that one.
Throwing
the green Corrado?
Yeah,
3.7?
it was a 3.7.
Oh, I never seen that one.
Could you imagine?
Oh my god!
Take you like 5 minutes to get your bait back in.
Yeah, dude.
I remember
3 days later.
I remember when I got like after fishing 7s and 8s, I got my first 5 like for cranking, right? Like,
yeah,
I threw it out there. I'm like, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
What's
I
wrong
don't
with
even
this
use
thing?
5-to-1 gear ratio reels no more. Like I used to when I first started. Like, I guess I still use them if I'm doing like wintertime, inline swim bait fishing with inline swim baits. I'll do it, not jig head swim baits, but inline winter fishing. I'll throw a 5-to-1. I got a couple of them, but when I'm cranking, dude, I don't even use a 6.8 or a 6.4. I use a 7.1 for everything.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of time, especially now that the live scope came out, I want to make that fish react.
Right.
I want to, if I could see it and I want to make it react, I want to be able, I could slow that bait down easier than I can speeding up if I had a slower reel. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you
100%.
Absolutely. But let's think back. I mean, I'm old enough to remember. I know you're old enough to remember. I'm sure you are too. Like 5 used to be like a speed demon.
Oh yeah.
5 was like
then a 6-to-4, and then
when the 6-to-4 came out, we're like poof, like really?
Like, how are we gonna keep our bait in the water? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I got some old Abu Garcia 521s, which is 5-2-1, like, and the handle's that far apart, right? Like, it's not a big cranking handle. It's
no, they're knuckle busters.
Yeah, I'm saying you're gonna bust your knuckles just turning the handle on it. Right?
Yeah, 8-to-1. I got to be careful. I most of my stuff 7-to-1, like you said, but I got one 8-to-1 to Tula. It's like an 8-to-3 or something.
Yeah,
I've slammed my jig into the rod tip so many times coming in because it just comes so fast.
Right.
You really got to focus. I got to make sure I know which reel I've got in my hand.
Right.
Well,
I got one of those just to try them out. I just wanted to see them. I got one of those 10-to-1 rockets.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's too fast for like anything reaction or anything. Like, it's cool for flipping. It's really cool.
But does it have the
power?
Doesn't have the turn. Like, you get one buried up in the grass, you can't turn.
Yeah.
Handle. You're dead in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm like a 6 or 7 when I'm punching heavy cover.
7-to-1 is, but when I'm flipping, when I'm just flipping wood and everything else.
If you're flipping open cover, then that's probably fine.
Yeah. If I'm flipping hard cover, I'm 8-to-1, but 7, I got 30, 35, 40 reels that are just 7-to-1 because it's just a do-all reel.
Well, it's consistent, right? You know exactly what it's going to do every single time.
Yeah. So, even with the spinner bait, chatter bait, I throw all that 7-to-1.
Yep.
I know a lot of guys throw the 6.4s and like Brett Height, he throws a 6.3-to-1 for his chatter bait. I can't do that. I can't.
He also throws a pencil whip for a
I can't do that either.
I can't do that either. Like, nope. I mess with
I want to be able to snap that bait.
Yeah. We throw it around too much grass to be like, it's a wet noodle out there. I don't
100%.
I mean, to each your own, right? Like, if you want that, that's the rod for you. But I want to feel it too. Like, I want to feel that. People call me crazy, but I want to feel that bass track that chatterbait.
100%.
When they get behind there and you can feel them drafting it, and you know that there's something going on. This is before
or pushing it, or when they push it.
Yeah. It's like, I'm about to get bit, and your partner's like, what? And it's like,
Kong! Yeah. 100%, dude.
I love it.
100%. I don't even own a glass rod anymore. I don't even use them. Like,
no. Graphite has come so far that they can make a graphite rod that has some of the characteristics as glass, but
you can feel so much more.
Yeah, you don't lose the sensitivity.
Yeah, I don't even.
It's a lot lighter. Yeah. Being from California, I gotta ask though, like the first Sasquatch Bigfoot sighting that got put on the map was like Northern California, Patty, like back in the day in the 50s or whatever. Have you had any Sasquatch run-ins? Do you know of any stories, or is he out there running around your neck of the woods?
Maybe when I was a kid, my dad would wake up. That's the only Sasquatch I know.
Yeah.
No, I can't. No, and I grew up on a ranch my whole life, so I would know.
Yeah. Hey, you told me like 7's like significant in that's a little hint here in your childhood because of would you say the brand or whatever?
Yeah, my family's cattle brand.
Okay, so did you so that was actually a bit you guys raised cows, and that was the income?
Well, my great grandpa and my dad, that's all they did before I was even born, And then when I was born, we had a little bit of cows, but not nothing crazy like they had. They had like, that's all they did. That was their thing, is raising cows, and they had a bunch of different ranches and stuff. But when I was growing up with my dad, he was a touring pro fisherman, and he had a trucking company. So he traded in the cows for the trucks. And we still had cows. We still messed around with the cows, but it wasn't nothing like they had when I wasn't, back when they were doing it. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty cool, man. I've been reading a book about, I can't remember it's something the summer moon, but it's about it's real interesting. It's about the Indian, like the Comanches and the white settlers that came from the east, and it's all like Oklahoma, Texas, back in the 1850s, and there was a buffalo. The Native Americans followed the buffaloes, and then you had Mexico was involved, and it was like the Wild West, all that crazy stuff that happened.
When everybody was stealing land and everybody was.
Oh, dude, it was bonkers back then. I mean,
it was the Wild West.
Yeah, it was the Wild West. You're exactly right. It was like lawless, free for all.
Yeah, everybody lawed themselves. Like, yeah.
It's a pretty good book. I'm like 2 pages away. I only get to read it like 10 minutes a day. So it's I got 2 books for Christmas, and I'm about to finish my second book. It's almost Christmas.
Well, you're just about in time then, right?
Yeah, it worked out perfectly.
So we got a winner.
We got a winner. Cody Yates. Congratulations, Cody.
He guessed it. 77.
77.
You kind of
that's Troy Boy's football number.
I gave a hint away.
I said a really good hint away. Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was giving it away when I started talking. I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth. But so Cody, get a hold of me. Gabe Montgomery Fishing, or 10 Horse Monty on Facebook, or 10 Horse Monty 6 on Instagram. Just send me your email, and I'll get a hold of Brian, and he'll send you a $25 Baitworks gift card. So congratulations. Well, man, let's wrap this up. We're coming up on 2 hours. I know you got a family and stuff. It's been awesome hanging out with you. It's really nice to meet you. Dude. Like, we've never talked before, and I feel like I know you now.
I love the energy that he brought to this tonight. Like,
so
keep that up for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, guys. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do some fishing when I'm back east in between one of these tournaments. Let's hook up and do some videos. If you're doing the YouTube, man, you could teach me something about the videos, and we'll go catch some.
Hey, when you're in town for Lake of the Ozarks, seriously, shoot me a text or something. And, I got some time. I'll try to make it down there. Like I said, it's like a 4-hour drive, and I'm down there several times a year.
100%. Where's your town? What one is it?
It's Cape Girardeau is the biggest town. We're actually about 10 minutes away from there. It's about 100 miles south of St. Louis. So Cape Girardeau.
So Lake of the Ozarks sets.
So you're still in Missouri then?
Yeah, we're in Missouri.
Lake of the Ozarks on the west side of the state. Western side of the state. We're on the far eastern.
So I could stop in through there when we go to Saginaw, because that's on the way to Saginaw, ain't it? somewhere right there?
It probably is. It probably is. So Interstate 55 is like a main thorough. It's a main interstate that
runs the whole length of the highway,
north and south.
the country. Yeah.
So just we'll stay in contact, man. Yeah,
100%.
Even if we just get together and eat lunch or something, man. So what? That'd be cool.
100%. I want to get you guys on that iRod game.
Yeah, cool. So any last shout outs or anything before we wrap this up?
Just all the Bass Warrior fans, I love you guys. All my sponsors, my family, everybody. Just I love you all, and Bass Warrior for life, man.
Is that a Bass Warrior hat?
You like that, huh?
Is that a Bass Warrior hat?
Yeah.
Nice. You get your own hat.
Yeah.
Legit, dude.
Sponsors on the side, dude. We're coming out with. I'm taking like 100 t-shirts, Bass Warrior t-shirts. Blasted Bass Warriors. So all the fans that show up to the live weigh-ins, I'm going to be shooting those to the fans this year. So
awesome.
Sweet.
We're going to get you. We're going to get you guys. What's that?
Where can we get one of those hats at?
I'll send you one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm just waiting. We got to order ones for the new season with the new sponsors. So when that happens, I'll send you guys some.
This time.
Cut now.
Come
on, Bass Warrior.
Did it cut out?
Yeah, there we go. Now we're back. We're back.
Oh,
you're ordering hats?
I said the new ones are being made for this year with the new sponsors on the side. So when those come in, I'll shoot you guys a hat.
Okay.
Awesome.
Excellent, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, man. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks for hanging out with us. Lewis, it was great hanging out with you. Thanks for everybody on the chat that hung out with us. And same time, same place next week. Adios.
All right.